Hey guys, hi, welcome back once again. My name is Vaishali, and today I'd like to talk about the difference between compromise and adjustment. And in fact, we as Indians kind of seem to grow up with the notion of compromising or adjusting as a fantastic way to be, the fantastic way to deal with any situation, and we barely recognize the difference between the two. In fact, these two notions are so ingrained in all of us that they probably even seem to grow within us as we seem to grow. In fact, I'm quite sure that not only do they get ingrained within our own individual selves, but we also pass them along. We also pass them on as hereditary heirloom. And innately somewhere, I always knew the difference, but probably could not put it in the right words, in the right frame. So I googled up for not only the meaning of those words individually, but also to understand their subtle nuances. And here is what I found. A compromise is an agreement or a settlement of a dispute that is reached by each sides making some concessions that they would not have originally agreed upon. The second meaning also tells me it's the expedient acceptance of standards that are lower than what is innately desired. On the other hand, adjustment means alter or move something slightly in order to achieve the desired fit, appearance, or a result. And so if we compile them together and analyze them together, they actually mean that adjustment is to change something to accommodate someone to a slight degree, whereas compromise means to accept a somewhat lower standard in order to avoid a conflict. And I don't deny that when the situation is really gruesome, probably like the situation that is happening right now in the world when Ukraine is facing enormous crisis, I believe some kind of compromise is a good enough situation that the two parties can agree towards. It may not necessarily be fulfilling towards both of them, but probably it may entail a certain sense of harmony that can stop a certain bigger destruction, a bigger damage. And maybe its place should only be limited to that and not be pushed into every place in our lives. Would we ever tell ourselves or our kids or the people that we love that they should compromise on their health, that they should compromise on their well-being, that they should compromise on their sense of happiness, that they should compromise on their sense of their freedom, that they should compromise on them having to make choices for themselves? Quite likely not, because when we start compromising on those aspects of our lives, on those choices that we either get to make or not make, we even start holding resentment, not only within ourselves, against ourselves, but also against other people as well. And those subtle resentments gradually start to grow within us, just like compromise or the attitude of compromise grows within us. Whereas on the other hand, adjustment is for a certain specific time period. It does not stretch itself beyond a certain point. Probably it should not also stretch itself beyond a certain point. It has a certain bandwidth beyond which if we pull, it may snap. The person, the relationship just may snap. So adjustment can therefore be compared to us shifting our gears of the car or us changing the speed of our vehicle when we are driving either on a heavy trafficked road or when we are driving on a very smooth, open, broad road. We somewhere know that this situation will pass after half an hour, after an hour, or after 2 hours. It may not necessarily stretch beyond a certain point. Adjustment may also help us build our resilience, whereas on the other hand, compromising may actually lead us into us compromising not only on our values but also on our health, on our well-being. And probably there's also reason as to why compromise became our normal. Probably it originated and germinated from a place wherein man essentially was looking only for survival and not for thrival, wherein being happy was something that humans aspired for once in a while, wherein they celebrated things, or probably it was also something that one aspired for after their life was over on earth and they probably reached heavens. And quite likely, since that was not the normal aspiration, people compromised a lot. Since we now aspire to create heaven on earth, so long as we live here, since we aspire for well-being and happiness, compromise may not necessarily be the right way of well-being, of health, of happiness. Maybe it's time we looked into the notions of compromise and adjustment. Maybe it's time we looked into it so that we not only stop it from growing within all of us, but also stop it from spreading onto those whom we interact with. Maybe it's time we start demarcating the difference between compromise and adjustments and realize where, when, and how we use them. Let's try and think about that a little more, and I will see you once again the next week. Till then, stay tuned in. And guys, if you do like the contents of my videos, please do like, share, and subscribe.